Hello everyone, it's Peyton
and Anna, and welcome back to our podcast.
Today we're going to be unfolding friendships in athletics.
We feel like we are pretty much experts on this topic.
I think that this is a great topic and we should have started with it considering we never do anything separately and we're actually matching right now. Shout out Air's Pizza.
What one of our beautiful friendships has brought us?
Free hoodies.
They're the best hoodies, the best pizza. Air's Pizza in Jeff City. This is basically a sponsored post.
Georgia, please sponsor. Wait. Why are we not sponsored by them?
We'll get on that ASAP.
They don't even follow us on anything, so that's actually really interesting.
Anyways,
we
back to Air's Pizza. We're not moving.
That's not our topic today. But that is the best pizza in the whole world. The places are Jeff City, Columbia, Springfield.
And I think that's it. But
fact check us, Georgia, let us know. But I think that is it. And
the best one's in Jeff City because that's where the fam is. So.
The Perdales family.
But that's our segue into our friendships.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about friendships in athletics. And I think the most important thing to learn is why you should value friendships. I think friendships are probably the best thing on this earth. And I'm not even talking about just finding friends, but you should be friends with even your family, your significant other you should be best friends with. I actually saw a TikTok today that was like, no, I don't have a boy best friend. Like, it's obviously my boyfriend or like, whatever. Can't relate, but I'm sure it's nice. But I think that valuing your friendships is something that everyone wants. Like, you want to be on both sides of it. You want to have friendships you value and you want to be valued as a friend. And I think, like, why we should value them is because they're so important to our lives. They're a segue into connections. Like, I think even just by being friends with you guys here, I now, like, every time I go to Chicago, I'll know someone. Like, hey, you guys know Anna Johnson?
Yeah.
Oswego? And then they say no, and I'm like, okay, why am I even friends with her? That was the whole point.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not getting anything out of this friendship.
Exactly, but, like...
yeah, exactly. Great.
I get a podcast
if you don't see
out
me
of it.
On the next episode, that's why.
I get a podcast out of it, so you have to be in the next episode.
It's going to be the Peyton show coming up. No, Anna's not included anymore. But...
I just glitched. I guess I didn't need to say that.
Now she's crying.
You should be crying.
You should be crying. You should be crying. You hurt my feelings.
Anyway, valuing friendships, this is a bad example because clearly she does not feel valued.
We're just joking.
But I think,
that's like part of our friendship, though.
That goes into, like, finding hobbies together.
And reading. Don't forget we like to read.
Book club. We have shouted out our book club every single episode.
So, and no one has asked to join. So, thanks, guys.
That's really interesting.
I mean, it's okay. They probably just don't have the contact information. We'll make a post after this. Email, phone number,
they probably don't have our first and last name. Oh, wait. They do.
And our business email. And website's coming soon. We used to finish that. Yeah. Okay. Anyways. Going on.
But valuing friendships not only, like, makes everyone happy, but you do get connections to the real world. So, like, Anna's mom, I found this out a long time ago, but you guys are just going to find this out. She's actually a kindergarten teacher. I'm majoring in elementary education, so we went and visited Anna last year for spring break in Oswego, and I didn't get to visit her classroom, but...
The offer's on the table, though.
Yeah.
My mom has offered multiple times to have Peyton come in and, like, hang out with her kids anytime she's there, so...
And I think it's cool, the location of where she lives, actually. I was like, I want to live here. Like, I could see myself moving there. And I think that's just really cool that I would already have, like, that connection to a job offer, like, fresh out of college. So I think that's not the main reason why you should have friends, but that is a really nice, like, plus for valuing a friendship.
And another reason I think going along with that is the learning opportunities that you can gain from friendships. For not even friendships, but these connections that you're talking about too, which with valuable connections, there should be a friendship somewhere ingrained in there. Even if it's a professional friendship, it's still considered a friendship.
No using people.
Yeah. There's still people, and everyone's a person, and everyone has an emotional value that you can take away from them, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
Like I had a class and I had to just go interview one of my old coaches. Granted, that's more of a professional friendship, but I would still consider, like, I feel safe enough and I feel comfortable enough reaching out to him and being like, hey, like, I want to kind of learn some stuff from you. And I think that even not just in the professional setting, but in the social setting, you can learn so much from other people too. Like social cues. Like I can read Peyton like a book.
Yeah.
She will make faces and I'll be like, okay. And I just have to look away or else I'll start laughing because I know what she's wanting to say, but she
does
can't
this
say.
a lot, and I at this point don't even notice that I do it. Granted, I'm really bad at facial expressions. Like I'm bad at hiding them, but Anna will always just like later she'll be like, I knew what you really wanted to say, and I'm like,
yeah, it happens every single day.
Yep.
But not even that, but learning, it's so cool to me to be able to watch, like, my friends, the way that we're all so different and how we interact with other people. It's so just almost, like, beautiful to watch the way that people interact. And it is funny because it is said that when you spend a lot of time with people, you take their mannerisms.
I knew that was where you were going. The exact, okay.
Yeah, because one of our friends, Allison, we always joke.
Yeah, we need to shout her out.
She always ends up taking the mannerisms of others. And I'll, like, when the first time she does it, I always whip my head around. I'm like, doesn't so-and-so do that? And
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. And then she just keeps doing it and keeps adding it.
And it's funny because it's like even she'll do that from her friends at home, and then
Yes.
I will meet her friends from home, and then I'm like,
Oh, that's
oh,
where that
Allison,
came
this is
from.
where you got it from. I don't even ask anymore. I'm like, oh, did you get that from Allison? They're like, nope, she got it from me, or something like that.
Which is, that's like the
And I
fun-
take them from Allison. Don't
Oh,
get me
yeah,
wrong. Like,
yeah.
she's not the only one that does this,
Yeah.
but
When I'll go home from here and I'll, like, say things and I'm like, oh, Peyton does that. Peyton says a lot of things like, oh, they hate me. That has been really added into, I think everyone has started saying that. Not that, like, I definitely said it before a little bit, but it's definitely been grown because
it's like
of
my
Peyton.
every other sentence.
Yeah.
Someone like blinks at
Yeah.
me wrong, or someone like doesn't hear what I said, and I'm like, oh, so you hate
Oh,
me.
yeah, that happens to me a lot. I get told that I hate her probably 7 times a day, but don't worry, it's all love. But anyways, those mannerisms are, I think, a simple example, but being able to learn so much from your friends and being able to grow together, I think, is part of why friendships are so valuable, because they're going to be there to support you in your growth, and you can support them in your growth. And I think that's so cool to be able to witness firsthand in a friendship.
Yeah, and I also think that valuing, like, taking these mannerisms and, like, being, like, just remembering what friend you got it from, I'm just like, oh, that's so cute. And I love seeing people do it like that I do. And I'm like, you got that from me.
Yeah.
Because then it's like they're thinking of you and, like, they're valuing you as a person. It's awesome.
When it comes from a place of endearment, too, like,
that's
just sitting here talking, you can tell, like, we have so much love and, like, just admiration for our friends that we love them so much. And just thinking about it brings a smile to our face. And that, I think, is also why friendships are so valuable, because, like how you mentioned, just the joy that it brings.
Yeah.
And I just love having good friends. It's just the best.
Yes, I agree. It's awesome.
And that's what everyone should value. And I think that people take that value for granted, and that's kind of why we wanted to address it, because there's so many...
Friendships are just so important. Like, you just need them.
Well, and you always need people to rely on in different circles, too, which is super duper important. And when you're kind of looking for these friendships, too, these are the types of qualities. Granted, those are values and why you should value them, but there's also certain qualities that I feel like you should look in a friendship. And some of those values are some of the qualities I feel like that you can find, which is that level of support. I think that you should always have someone that's your biggest cheerleader as a friendship. If you have someone that's tearing you down and is like, even if you succeed and they're just kind of like, oh, great, and then just walks away, like, that to me is also not that healthy of a
I think I think your friends should celebrate your successes, like, almost more than you do. Like, honestly.
I agree. Like, because also, everyone wants to be humble. Like, that's what you want to do. But also, like, I even feel like sometimes, like, I'll say something that happened, and Peyton or someone will be like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't you tell us that? Like, that's awesome, or something like that. Because you see it in such a different light than they do. And, again, self-love is what it's all about. And by having friends that help you realize that it's okay to be proud of yourself, and they promote you up. And I think that that is also a quality that is super necessary in a friendship. And I think that these qualities that we're talking about are also important to distinct between just a friendship and a friendship that's going to last as well.
I also think that, like, that is a quality that you should look for in a friend, but I also think that if you are currently in a friendship, it's a quality you should look for in yourself. That, like, I have never, before I met like some of my really good friends, I've never just like, I'm a really competitive person. Obviously, I stem from athletics, so I'm going to be very competitive.
And that's where friendships are hard too.
Friendships are hard because like you're always competing and everything, but I've genuinely, like any of my close friends right now, if they were to win something and like beat me with something, I would be so happy for them. And like obviously a little bit is going to be like sad you didn't win, but like someone that you love so much and care about so much is like
achieving
their goal. Like when Georgia won the OVC alternative team, I cried. Awesome. I literally cried when Georgia. Okay, well, this is all about Georgia because
we love you, Georgia.
Now my mind is just in that. But when I think every time Georgia has scored this year, I've been crying.
Yeah.
And Allison scored, cried.
Yeah. Well, they're also just so like they're probably our closest friends, and also they're all like they're both so humble that they would not celebrate it to the same extent that we would, where it's like that is so awesome. We're like Georgia got the hard hat, which is what we give to at the end of the game,
like the MVP of the game or who worked the hardest.
And she got that one day, and I also think I was just like, you're the best, and I wanted to like bow down to her.
I think you should idolize your friends while also like they should idolize you, and like it should be vice. It should go both ways. Like friendships should always go both ways, and I think that is a quality to look for in a friendship. Is just like I don't even think that you have to be the same person to be friends. Like I think you could be on totally different pages, but just like coming together and like being happy when you being happy, like existing with the person. Like we live together, and I've never been annoyed of anything. I feel like
I don't think I've ever been like I wish I wasn't here right now.
Yeah,
like, ever. And we're in the same room.
And I was not thinking that. I think I was thinking that like one of these days we all turn out until oh my god, I can't talk. We'd all turn out to be like sisters and then like start fighting and like catfighting, which some of my friendships, I think every friendship is just different.
I agree.
So like some of like me and Maddie Vasiloff, shout out again. We've shouted you out before, but like we always talk about how we can never live together. Like we would go crazy
at each other's throats.
But I think it's a way of like us understanding each other, and we both know we could take the criticism and like we both know that's how we work together. Yeah. But then like here I understand you guys, and I know that, like, catfighting with you. Not that I've even had anything to fight about, but, you know.
Yeah, but just, like, the tease. Like, we're just all different people, which I think is also so interesting and such an ode to what we're talking about. Because I would definitely say we're similar, and I think that... Because the four of us all live together, and I think that the four of us also have so many unique traits that we can relate to different of us in different ways.
Yeah.
And I don't think that... It's just so cool. It's like you could almost make a tree about this, like a spider web connecting all of us and like what we have similar and what we have different. Like it's so unique, and I think that's what makes us such good friends. Yeah. And also knowing each other on that such a deep level is just so awesome, and I'm so thankful for that. Like it's so just brings me so much joy. But and also I wanted to say in the qualities of a friendship that we're talking about, I think it's super important too to understand that not only are friendships going to be different, but there's going to be different stages of your friendship too. And I think that a lot of people have skewed, not even just in friendships, but in relationships, that it should always be 50-50. But I'm a huge believer that some days it's not going to be 50-50. Right. Some days someone's going to have a rough day. You're going to have to support each other in that friendship, because that's what it's about. It's about understanding each other and being there for each other. So it's not going to be 50-50, and you also are going to have the self-awareness to be okay with that.
I was almost going to say, like, another quality to look for in a friend is someone who, I don't even want to use the word attentive, but, like, someone who does notice things like that. Like, they notice when you're having a bad day. They notice when you're...
Yeah. But my good friends have told me that they notice very much when I am not.
Anna is very easy if you're looking for... Like, you have to be looking for it. If she's in a bad mood, she's very... Yeah. It's noticeable. Yeah. But I don't know if it's noticeable. Yeah. I just notice it. Like,
I just
it's noticeable to me.
appreciate that, though, too. And I think that also goes to our friendship, because I appreciate that someone is able to
That's what I'm saying. It's, like, a good quality to look for, because, like, some days even, like, I don't even realize I'm sad. And then I'm like... I don't really feel like doing that today. Like, and then, you know, our friends are just like, oh, let's go play pickleball instead. I'm like, yes.
Oh, yeah, that is such the key to Peyton's soul is to ask you to play pickleball.
Pickleball, please.
Yeah, so.
And then I think this ties into what to look for in, like, a bad friendship. So, like, qualities to look for that
you don't kind of want to be a part of. And they should be turning you away. Or almost red flags.
Yeah.
Red flags of a friendship, we could probably call it.
Yeah, and I know it's really hard, especially, like, I don't, like, a breakup for a friendship, like, that's hard. Like, how do you even go about that? Because it's like...
Well, and also I think that the idea of the different types of friendships, like, if you're friends with someone and even in, like, elementary school, if you're friends with someone but you're in the same class, like, there's not much you can do. Like, do you stick it out and deal with it, or do you say something to them and kind of, like, just have it be an awkward? And circling back to athletics, if you have someone on your team that you're like, I'm not too fond of this person, but as a team and being a part of that kind of culture, you need to be able to kind of deal with that. And I think that that's a very interesting thing too, which is how you can kind of handle these negativities in friendships.
I was going to say, I feel like it kind of comes with age a little bit, but it also comes with maturity, which I think two different things, age and maturity.
Oh, yeah.
But
you can be 50 and maturity level of a 7-year-old.
Yeah. Seen it happen before, folks. No, I haven't.
I was going to say, I don't know how many 50-year-olds I know.
But I feel like when you're younger, you're almost, like, less picky with your friends. And I think that's why it's so hard when you're older, because you will, like, grow up with these friends, and then you're like, oh, I don't really know if we're interested in the same thing. So I think that's a quality to look for, is, like, your guys' interests. And it doesn't have to be, like, little interests, like, oh, I'm not friends with you because you don't like to read. It's interests is, like, who they want to be as a person.
I agree.
Like, if they are motivated, shout out to our other podcast
they can overcome failure.
Yeah. So if they're motivated, how they, like, almost how they respond. I think that is a good trait to look for, is how they respond in conflict.
I agree.
So, like, if you guys are fighting about something, a fight is not the end of the world. Okay,
You can grow.
You can be
together.
civil, and you could just, like, get over it.
Well, and with maturity, you should be able to handle that in something. I think maturity is a quality that you should look for in a friendship,
point, yeah.
Because that's super important. But one of the ones that came to my mind right away is huge for me personally, and I know I've heard other people say it too, but is how I see them treat other people. Because I'll be friends with someone if they treat me well. Like, I won't go and, like, not dislike them because they treat me well and others not. But I just know that I don't know if I'll ever let myself get that close to them because of how they be treating other people. Because even, I'm just you should be nice to everyone. Like, that's a huge way I think you should go through life. You don't know what people are going through. Like, it's not that hard to just say hello or please and thank you. It's just common courtesy, in my opinion. So when I see people that aren't following kind of those same values as an individual that I have, I think that that's kind of a red flag to me. And again, I don't think it's worth certain of these qualities. I don't think it's worth to, like, terminate a friendship, but I do think it's worth it to kind of
distance.
Yes, maybe kind of, like, manage the friendship.
Yeah.
Because, one, they're treating those people like that. Would you ever do that? No. Two, eventually, who says that they won't treat you like that? Or if something goes awry, they could also treat you like that. And I think that that's one quality that I think is important, to look at how they treat everyone around them.
I agree, because also going back to, like, us picking up on things that other people are doing, like, if you look at someone and you're like, oh, I hate that they do that, like, I feel like once you get closer to them, you could accidentally, like, subconsciously pick up a trait that they've been doing. So, like, you could start yelling at your mom, like you see them doing.
So that's a big one.
My mom would kill me.
Same.
My mom would actually.
Don't worry, Mom. I would never.
I respect it, Mom. Don't worry.
If I was getting yelled at too, I'd be like, go to your room.
Yeah. I'd be like, she doesn't even have to say anything. Yeah. She just gives me the look. My mom told me when I was younger, like, I would always cry. Like, she did not even have to, like, she would just be like, Peyton. And then I'd start crying.
If you just, with, like, the one syllable that's different, it's like, Peyton.
Peyton. And then it's like, Peyton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Peyton. Yeah, shivers down my spine.
Add my middle name, I'm done for.
Yeah, that's when it's like, okay, I'll go mow the lawn, do the dishes. I'll scrub your feet if you want.
Oh, you want to flip it on? Yeah, let me get this pocket.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to what we were talking about. But yeah, I think how you look at a friendship, as you get older too, I think it changes what you're looking for. But you said their values.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is different than their interests. So like I said
agree.
interests earlier, I think you shouldn't look at whatever their interests are to like determine if your friendship should stick, but you should look at their values.
Yeah, I agree.
And that also has to do with you picking up on things and you
Mhm.
like noticing those things. I think that's a trait you should also look for if people aren't really noticing anything about you.
Mhm.
If they're
Yeah.
treating you as if like you're just them.
Yeah.
Like for example, I don't like shopping.
Yeah.
I do not like shopping. And when I was younger, I'd always have these friends that'd be like, "Oh, we could go shopping and then we could do I'm like,
Come
yeah. I would say yeah and then go anyway, but I was like, oh,
And your feet are dragging.
I
and you're
hate shopping.
Just give me my pretzels.
Yeah, unless I'm like looking for something, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
which that isn't like a good example. Like one time, obviously, I'm going to do like, I'm gonna have fun one
Yeah.
time and like do what my friends want to do because I respect them and value our friendship.
Mm-hmm.
But like it's like every time they don't even know that I don't like shopping. Like now my mom will be like, "Oh, we could go shopping and then we could get ice cream,"
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
fine, fine." Pull my arm.
Just for the ice cream.
Yeah.
The best dessert ever.
Yeah.
Ugh. But I also think that when you're talking about qualities, you can kind of refer back to what we were talking about with positive qualities and just literally reverse them.
That's yeah.
Because that's like the basics. But I also think that one part of a negative friendship is one that kind of how we talked about supporting each other. I think one, not just not supporting, but I think that if you're having conversations with them and they're very self-motivated, I think that that's kind of a red flag in a friendship. If you always feel like you're talking about them or if you always feel like their problems are bigger than yours, I think that that's a huge attribute of that because you're going to start to feel undervalued. And I think that also, how you said, picking up different traits from people, you'll start to pick up the trait that, oh, my problems aren't. Like, you're going to start dismissing your own problems because they don't care. And
you're going to start, like, agreeing with their mindset that, like, they're the main character.
Yeah, and I think, even speaking on mindset, I think how you said the values, and I think a mindset, and not to be, like, Gen Z, but like the aura of someone, like you do get feels off of people.
You do, yeah.
Like in the first 5 or 10 meetings, you're like, oh, I like she has a good vibe, or like, yeah, I don't know if I want to keep talking to this person. And I think that that's part of it. Like, always have an open mind about it because first impressions do go awry. But I do think that the first instinct and like what you kind of get the vibe from them is also something you need to dictate. And
I agree.
Being aware of what you want in a vibe.
Yeah, but then going off of that too, like, yeah, you do get a first impression and first vibe, but then also, like, as you start hanging out with those people more, like, for example, again, Georgia, she's just not the same as us. We were both very people.
Yeah,
oriented. People.
Yeah.
We're people persons.
We're friends of the people.
Yeah.
We're
hosts
like
of the
speakers
people.
of the trees, but speakers of the people.
Yeah. So we're really, like, outgoing, extroverted, and then Georgia is very like closed off. Still sometimes when we talk to her, she'll say one word answers. But like, so when I first started talking to her, I was like, oh, she hates me, you know? Oh shoot.
It happens. I told you it happens.
Firsthand, it just happened. But seriously, that's what I was like. I was like, oh, she just must not like me. We won't mesh. And then I actually made it my mission freshman year. I was like, yeah, she's going to be my friend.
She's like, would say this every single day. And I was like, okay.
Because
I wanted to be friends with her too. But
you
like,
got the same vibe that she just like didn't want to talk to
and
us.
I like love talk. She's our best friend now. So like, this is fine.
But I'm just saying like.
Payne openly says this. And it was just funny.
Yeah, I said it. I told her that.
Yeah, she'd be like, you're going to be my friend.
Yeah, I'd be like, Georgia, do you want to hang out?
Yeah.
And she'd be like,
no.
Sure. No, she'd say, sure. I'm like, okay.
But then she started to say no. Once we got to know her, she would say, no, I'm going to go lay in my bed.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to play some FIFA.
But that was like my example, like, you know, our first impression of her. I was like, oh, brother, we are not going to be friends. And then now we're best friends. So I think, but again, it was her values that I kind of found. And I would say that I agree, first impressions. And that's kind of what I was saying with an open mind. But I do think I always got a good vibe from her. Yeah, like, never bad aura, just like different. And like, I feel like quieter. If we weren't very good at reading people, we could probably be like, oh no.
Well, and that happens to people all the time. And I think that's why it's important to have an open mind and get to know people. But you like, understand yourself too.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you can help yourself find people that you know, and then you kind of have a baseline to go off of too.
And I think that kind of comes with maturity. I feel like as we grow older, the friends we make now are the friends that are going to stay longer.
I agree.
Because now we know who we are, and now we know what we're kind of looking for. But when you're younger and in high school especially, that's like the hardest because for one, you're just trying to survive, honestly. High school and the cliques.
The clique.
And even like cliques never really break.
No.
But
I think cliques are always a thing. Like,
but it's like,
we even had, like, one of the girls that transferred in onto our team, she was like, oh yeah, like, you guys were like, your own, like, she like said something along the lines of like, we were a clique, but like, I hope we're not like, but I think that we do a good job of not making it a negative thing. And also, when we're at soccer or like out with other people, I don't think that we
don't talk. I don't feel like we really talk to each other that much when we're at like soccer.
No.
But
that's what I'm saying. You need to have an open mind, and that's, I think, another good quality of a friendship is someone that's not like possessive or like almost a negative quality of a friendship. Yeah. Because someone who so possessive
and gets mad, and that kind of goes with like like not appreciating your successes. It's like when they get mad that you have other friends.
Yes.
Which happened a lot when you were like younger.
Yes.
You would have those friends.
Be like, no, she's my best friend.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
she's
be like,
my best friend.
I'm just a friend of the world.
We're speaker of the people.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what you said.
Friend of the world, speaker of the people. Saying friend of the world, I think is a Sims trait.
I've been talking a lot. My mouth is dry.
I was charged up for this one.
I think it is a Sims trait.
It is. Yeah. We're also Simmers.
Oh, did that not come out before?
I have no shame. I love that game.
Okay, fine. I'll play tonight. Anyway. Back to this.
Anyways, so kind of as we've kind of addressed what you kind of want to look for in a friendship and why we need that friendship, there's also the idea of once you get this friendship, how do you maintain it? And I honestly understand. I struggle with this, honestly.
She's gotten better. I've told her.
I have gotten better, but even I think I've gotten better with my friends that are here because I do value our friendship so much. And it's not like I don't value other friendships that I have. It's just almost a different type of friendship where, first of all, I know you're going to get on me and be like, oh yeah, Anna does not care about me anymore. And you'll call me out on it, which it does make me feel really bad. But I do appreciate it because it's made me better at being able to maintain friendships, which what this whole podcast is about is how important
and I probably save you with other friendships too. You probably then are like, I'm
way better at responding to people and reaching out to people.
See, we all have our strengths and weaknesses that we bring to the table.
Yeah.
We help out.
My weakness is definitely not responding.
It's a community job.
Yeah.
But I think oh my gosh. I think maintaining friendships is a little bit harder said than done.
I agree, especially as we get older.
Wait, harder said than done? Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Easier said than done. I think maintaining friendships are easier said than done because as I've gotten older, it's just been a little bit hard for me to almost keep up with the lives of my friends. But it's not that I don't want to. It's just like, it's really hard focusing on your own life and then other people that aren't around you. So like my long distance friends, they're not long distance. Like one of my best friends from home goes to SLU, which is really close to here. And in summer, we like rekindle and it's so funny. But I think I do need to reach out more and value, like, it's not that I don't value our friendship, but she probably feels that.
Yeah.
Which, again, maintain, like, it goes both ways. Like a phone has two sides.
Well, and friendships are so different. Like, I reconnected with one of my friends over spring break, and we kind of had talked, and we were like, we need to do better. Like, we addressed that we had not done a very good job of staying connected, but we also addressed the fact that both of us are totally okay not really talking at all during school
and
that's
nice
when we're gone. And we addressed it, and we were like, yeah, like, I'm totally fine, just, and then meeting up for coffee and dinner, like, for like 3 hours and just connecting, and then
just a casual 5-hour dinner would be fine.
I have no problem doing that. Or even, I think that a huge part of the phone, you don't have to have some long, like, blah, 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 because then that also puts so much pressure on that friendship. I think it's important, like, if you see something that reminds you of them, be like, oh, hey, I saw, like, my one friend I reconnected with, I played high school soccer with her, and we would always, like, just appreciate the blue skies. Like, we'd always be like, oh, the skies are blue today, and we'd always take pictures.
So you send her pictures?
Yeah, so I was like, I still am not great at it, but I have tried to, when the sky's really blue, or even when I think of it, and I'm like, I'll, like, take a picture of it and be like, skies are blue, thinking of you, or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, it is easier than you think to maintain a friendship because it's just, like, small deeds like that, and I think that is also a good quality to look for in a friend if they appreciate that, because they're just, like, they should understand. They should, like, you know, if you're reaching out and they're not really answering, that's kind of like, that's kind of, maybe they don't really value your friendship as much, which I'm not telling you what your friendships do and don't value, but like, I think really reaching out and, like, trying to maintain these friendships is something that, and if you don't want to maintain a friendship, that's a bad sign. Like, that means that you don't really value it, and it's not really something you should probably be in for your own sake. And I think vice versa, if someone is not valuing you, then they're not going to try to maintain these friendships, and you should just let them.
And these are people that you want them to be at your wedding, you want them to be there when you have children, you want them to be there for these stages of your life. And if I agree, like, not to make me really reflect on everyone that I haven't reached out to recently, and it's like making me but at the same time, I'm like, I do value these friendships, but I haven't reached out to them, but I'm like, I want to, and I just need to do it. But it's like, if you don't put in that effort, they're not going to be there for those types of things. And back to, like, the great qualities and the support that you can have from a friendship, that's not something that's just given. You have to, it's almost earned. Like, it should be expected in a good friendship, but you do need to put in the work to do the maintenance in a friendship, because so much changing is done too over in our time frame, and even as life goes on. Like, it's totally okay to not talk to someone for a while and then reconnect with them and let them know who you are again.
It is harder, like, as you grow up too and you're meeting all these new people, they're not really on your mind, which is harsh to say, but it is the reality. And I also think, you know, if you're listening to this podcast right now, reach out to that old friend. Say, what's up? Maybe send them a selfie, updated selfie, updated profile pic.
Oh, talk about the thing Allison does with Sam.
Oh,
about the pictures.
Didn't I talk about that in a podcast? Well, I'll just do it again. But my roommate, Allison, she has a friend that goes to Kentucky, and every Friday they send each other pictures of their highs and lows of the week, I think, or just, like, talks about their highs and lows and send pictures throughout the week. And I think that is something that's really awesome. I don't know if they still do it. I know that they were doing it at one point, but, like,
it's still awesome, and it's about, we talked about it in habits.
I bet it makes both of them feel so good that they're, like, thinking of each other, and, like, they're kind of updated, so maybe their dinner can be pushed back to 3 hours instead of 5 hours, you know? Like, they're kind of updated on each other's lives. They feel included. I think a big thing is also, whenever you're at college, I think your friends from home, or, like, you know, from wherever, they should at least know your friends' names in college. I think that's, like, the bare minimum of, like, they should know a little bit about your life, your new life that you're living without them. And maybe even they should visit. If they really value your friendship, maybe they should ask to visit.
Like, we took that trip to U of I. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I made new friends, so. Well, anyway.
Long story.
And I also think another part of maintaining friendships is growing apart. I think this is something that's, like, a harsh reality as well. Because, you know, you have these childhood best friends, and, you know, you have those friends that are, like, friends with your mom, and, like, it's their
it's like
kids.
Your cousin of, like, an aunt.
At one point you called them your cousins to people. I think it's totally okay to grow apart. And I think, like, if you don't want to grow apart, then you won't. If it wasn't meant to grow apart, then it won't grow apart. But I think it is almost like experiencing heartbreak.
In a different, like,
different sense. And, like, people don't put as much focus on it, but it is really sad. Like, you've grown up with these people, you think they know you for so long, and then you guys just kind of, like, go your separate ways, and that's totally fine. But I think that has to do with maintaining friendships. Like somewhere along those lines, someone
Mm-hmm.
didn't maintain something and someone felt undervalued, so it was a
Mm-hmm.
breakup in a sense.
Yeah, but again, you need to take initiative if you don't want that to happen
Mhm.
and continue to maintain friendships, because that's how you're going to avoid growing apart. And I think there's different levels of growing apart as well. Like,
Yeah.
I would say that my friend that I reconnected with, I think we grew apart from what we once were.
Like nothing bad happened.
Mhm.
That's what I think growing apart is. Nothing
I agree.
bad happened, and that's why you guys aren't friends. It's just like
But
slowly you guys are.
We
we're
used
out
to
of
be
each
like
other's
best
lives.
friends in high school. Like, I would probably spend time every single day with her. We played soccer together.
Yeah.
And we were together 24/7, and then we
Mhm.
went to college, and things just kind of changed. Like, there were just changes in values and stuff like that. And I would say that we grew apart, but I wouldn't say that we grew apart to the point where I wouldn't consider her my friend anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that that's a different type of distinction from just simply growing apart, to where it's like those people that you think of from elementary school or middle school and high school.
Yeah,
and you're like,
I'm sure you guys listening to this have like people in your brains. Like
Mhm.
I have people in my brain. Like
me too. And you're looking back on them and you're like, it's a fond smile, and you're like, oh yeah, me and this girl, we used to. And it's just like a great story that you have. And honestly, maybe take this as a sign.
yeah,
Like,
maybe rekindle
if
with
nothing
them.
bad has happened, I feel like, or if values haven't changed that much, what would it hurt to go meet up with them
Mhm.
and just do a reconnect? Because going back again, what you get out of friendships, these connections are for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And they will help you, one, become a more well-rounded person, but one, create so many new experiences for yourself. And it's beneficial both ways, because both of you can take something from a simple conversation that you can have together, I think.
Yeah. So everyone, if you're listening to this, go fill that hole in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
Go reach out again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this kind of takes us into our next direction, which would just be like different kinds of friendships. So that would be like a childhood best friend.
Yeah.
And I think like when I think of different kinds of friendships, I think of me in middle school. I would always tell people, oh, these are my school friends.
Yeah.
I think
same.
there was a shortened abbreviation for that.
No, I would definitely say that up until, I still say it.
Oh my gosh, there's not a shortened abbreviation, but I thought it was. I thought BSF means best friend. I thought it meant best school friend.
Oh.
So
I was always confused, because I was like, best is just one word.
Yeah.
Like, I was always
Yeah.
confused. But it's because then we started to get old, and BF meant boyfriend. You know, because I would always use like BFF, like best friend forever. But I guess BSF, that was like low-key high IQ to think of like best
What
school
up?
friend.
Yeah,
or something.
BSF I thought meant best school friend. So
Yeah.
I would always like call people at school my BSF.
Hey, BSF. You can have like a BSF group. That's so funny.
But I didn't know.
I should have thought of that.
Apparently, I didn't know what it meant. So I guess everyone else was just jealous, and I was like, "Yeah, this is my best school friend."
But everyone thought they were just your best friends.
Yeah.
So then it was like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I don't. feel
Wait,
that way about
shoot!
you.
Now I'm
Sorry.
embarrassed for me in 6th grade. Oh, secondhand embarrassment. But anyway, I think there's like different kinds of friendships. So I would also have my soccer friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that we would wear matching jackets every single day to school.
Ask
Yeah,
each
I
other
guess
about
they went to
practice
my
and
school,
carpool.
but they weren't my school friends.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Okay,
went to my
that's
school,
interesting. I think
but
that's an interesting topic too,
yeah.
because you were in two different settings with them, but like
Mhm.
you weren't that close with them in school.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
I like
that's
didn't
really
talk to them in
interesting.
school. I just like wave, and then at soccer practice later, we would like chat it up.
That's really interesting, because I would say I did the exact same thing. Well, I also just had like basketball friends or soccer friends, which when you play a school sport, I think that there's a bigger connection between those two.
I agree because it's just practice every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I had my soccer friends went to all different schools, so mine was a complete distinction. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going here, and then like my school friends are here, and there's like a little overlap. But I do think that now that I'm thinking back, it is cool to me, because all of my soccer friends, I was like, there was like different tiers obviously, but my main soccer friends, they knew who my school friends were, and my school friends knew who my soccer friends were. So I think that kind of shows that I had value in both of them.
Yeah,
and
that's
that
nice.
it's super cool to be able to have that connection, and kind of being able to learn different things from all of them, because friends that you make in athletics, I think, are completely unique compared to friends that you make in a school setting or even in a work setting.
They almost see like a different side of you.
Mhm.
That's what I always felt like. I think
Mhm.
that's why I didn't talk to them at a school level, because I was a big fan of separating my school life with my soccer life. I just think when I was at soccer, I was only thinking about soccer. When I was at school, I was only thinking about school.
Yeah.
So, like, when I saw my soccer friends, I just, like, wave.
Yeah. It wouldn't be like
because, like, I'm not in my soccer. It's almost like I had two different personalities. I was not soccer yet, okay?
Yeah.
Soccer's later.
Yeah.
I'm school right now, so
Yeah.
I was, like, a tryhard in school. I, like, raised my hand.
Yeah. But did you try, because also what we were talking about is just saying, like, when you think of a friendship, you want to make sure that you're being your most authentic self. So, like, back then, would you say that you were being consistent?
I would say back then I was not authentic at all. Like, genuinely, I had no idea who I was.
Fake AF.
I was fake. Like, straight up. People told me that. I was fake. So.
We've grown.
Yeah, at least I can acknowledge it.
Yeah. We've risen from the ashes of fakeosity.
I feel like I've definitely changed in that aspect a lot.
That's good.
But I was seriously, like, I think it was almost because my soccer friends made me nervous. I don't know why. I think it's just, like, the competitive nature. Because when I was in school, I did not feel like I was a soccer player. So it was, like, they were almost intimidating.
So funny.
Yeah, I know. This is really, like, coming of age moment right now.
Yeah.
Because, like, when I would see them in school, I would just be, like, intimidated because I wasn't a soccer player. But I was a soccer player, but I wasn't right now. I was at school. Wow, maybe I'm bipolar.
Yeah, I definitely did not feel that complicated. But also, like, my main personality was, like, athletics. And I don't know. I personally think, though, that I've kind of always been really comfortable with who I am. And I think that I definitely...
This is interesting hearing the two different perspectives.
Because I think I was very similar person. I definitely think that...
Were you extroverted? Like, were you outgoing in
Yeah.
school?
I, like, would talk to, like, everyone. Like, in school, I loved school simply because... And I loved high school and middle school because I simply could go to class and I would talk to whoever I was sitting by. Like, and I kind of missed those. That's another avenue of friendship because I would make friends and they would just be a class friend. Mm-hmm. But I genuinely enjoyed...
This is how I was in high school.
Yeah, but I was like that always.
Yeah, in middle school, I was more like... I was really shy, actually. I did not talk, and my face would turn red if someone ever, like, even said my name. Yeah, I was really shy. I would answer questions in class because I knew the answer. But, like, then in high school happened, I, like, switched. And then I was very outgoing.
Yeah.
Still good grades. I always loved school. But, like, in middle school, I only wanted to go to school to learn. I did not want people to talk to me.
That's definitely my opposite. But also, well, I was kind of, like, up until 8th grade, I was pretty bored in school. Like, but, like, I definitely excelled academically really fast. And then once high school hit, don't worry, it went downhill. You can ask everyone. But
mine stayed the same. I was plateaued at the top, so.
Yeah, Payne's was awesome. But I was, like, so I also don't really like school that much, though. Like, Payne knows, I don't really enjoy doing work unless I'm actually, like, I don't know. I just have a weird relationship.
She says that, but you also, like, you're grinding all the time. Like, I feel like, and you get good grades.
Yeah, but that's, like, going back to our idea of failure, I think. But anyways, I do think I was really consistent with my friendships because, I don't know, I didn't really actively think about it, but I do think that because I made such great friendships initially, I think that I learned that that's the standard. And I think that from there, I kind of stayed consistent to myself because if I was able to make these great friends being myself, why wouldn't I be able to make, like, those are the types of people I want to be around, so why would I not? And I kind of kept that in all settings. And I think that that helped me develop as both an individual and it helped me develop as a person in a friendship because I learned that no matter the setting, because also the standards and how to maintain a friendship is completely different for a soccer friend and a school friend. Like, it is completely different and you're around different people.
I knew it was completely different in there that time.
But, like, being able to kind of stay yourself, I think, which I think everyone can always improve at everything that they're doing. But I think that as starting as kind of a base when trying to find friendships, because why would you want to be friends with someone, even though we went through all of these things, why would you want someone to be friends with a different version of who you actually are?
I think that is exactly why I found my better friends later in life than you did, because you said you've always stayed true to yourself and you have a lot of friends from that time, right? Still?
Yeah. I still have a lot of friends from early high school and, like, club soccer. I have a lot of friends.
Not middle school?
Oh, I guess I am. I was friends with them.
That's what I was going to say. I think, like, for me, all of my good friends stemmed from like me making those friends early high school and then to now. And I think it's because I found myself more. I think in middle school, like those friends that I had in middle school and like technically all throughout high school, they like were friends with not me, like the fake version of me, because I was fake. And I admit that. And it's not their fault that they were friends with me at that time, but I think that's why I personally grew apart from them, and that's why I like did not maintain those friendships, because they were not the qualities that I was seeking, but I didn't know it yet until high school. So that's when I like found out who I was and like my friends.
Well, and that makes sense, and I think is better for both sides of the friendship. And I think that that's what can also be recognized, because even like some of the people that you're friends with, like that's when the growing apart happens too. Like some of the people I was friends with in middle school, I was great friends with them. I stayed friends with them. And they
probably found themselves too. They probably changed, even if you didn't.
So like I still will hang out with them sometimes. Like over the summer, last summer we'd hang out, and it wasn't awkward. I had a great time and stuff, but we just weren't as close as we were. But it's like that same.
Did you notice that they were like even different too?
And it's just like, it's honestly really cool to be able to see people that, even if you're not as close with them. It's
cool seeing them grow up, like grow a little bit.
Well, and even people I didn't really find myself liking that much when I was younger, I'm like, oh, I think I kind of like you as a person now. Whether I changed or whether that person changed.
And that comes with like having an open mind about people. Like first impressions. I think almost when you're older and you haven't seen a person in a while, you're meeting them over again. So it's another first impression like idea.
And just I think that is, it's just so awesome. I love friendships. Like it's so cool. It's just so, and I'm so appreciative of all the great friendships that I've made. And I honestly do have athletics to thank, because I do think my best friends, I was connected with them through some sort of sport, whether it be high school, middle school basketball. Some of my, like, the coolest friends I've ever met, I was like, they're my club basketball teammates, and I still talk to them, I still work with them, and it's like just so awesome. And then the club soccer, and then it's so cool when these youth friendships, that's another, I think, cool quality, being able to introduce your friends, because those are the types of people
like you're excited to like have your friends meet them, because you know how much they'll love them.
I was so excited to bring them to U of I to meet some of my good friends, and I was just like, this is so cool.
It's like two worlds colliding.
And it's also two groups of people I care about so much that I want to be a part of my life forever, basically. So it's like, it's just so cool. And I think that that's kind of what I have to thank for friendships and for in athletics.
We love friendships.
Woo!
This is such a fun podcast episode to make. Like, I don't know, I feel like I could talk about this forever.
Me too, with a big smile on my face.
But we don't have forever. Thank you guys for unfolding friendships with us.
We'll see you guys next week. Bye,
Bye, everyone.